it will converge and rises. In addition, there are some intermittent showers from having caused by the convergence of the air currents in rolling areas. Okay. Equatorial high temperature and abundant rainfall in the equatorial regions report. So high temperature, low pressure, high temperature, low pressure, convection, abundant result in abundant rainfall in the equatorial region support a luxuriant type of vegetation in tropical rainfall. High temperature, so in the Amazon lowland, the forest is so dense and so complex in vegetation extravagance, and that is spatial terms views. Unlike the temperate regions, the growing season here is all the year round seedling. So there's all the that's why we call it evergreen because if not, the trees do not shed their leaves in a particular seedling, flowering, fruiting, and decaying do not take place in a seasonal pattern. So some trees may be in the flower while others only a few years away may be bearing fruit. There is neither a drought nor cold to check growth in any part of the year. The characteristic features of the equatorial vegetation may be summarized as follows. A great variety of vegetation. The equatorial vegetation comprises a multitude of evergreen forest, evergreen trees, that is tropical hardwood. So, thick canopy. For a tropical hardwood example, mahogany, ebony is like mahogany. So we have mahogany, ebony, and green heart, cabinet woods, diodes. We have cabinet woods, diodes, and all. And there are smaller palm trees as well, climbing plants like the lianas or the rattan, which may be hundreds of feet long, and epiphytes and parasitic plants that live on other plants. Lianas and palm trees as well. Epiphytic and the parasite plants that live on other plants. That live on other plants. Under the tree grows a wide variety of ferns, orchids, and alarm. Fern, orchids, and alarm. Okay. Distinct layer arrangements from the air. The tropical rainforest appears like a thick canopy of foliage broken only where it is crossed by large rivers or cleared for cultivation. All plants struggle upwards for sunlight, of course, resulting in a peculiar layer arrangement. The tallest trees attain a height of over 150 feet. Their slender trunks pierce skywards with widespread branches at the top. The smaller trees beneath form the next layer, and the ground is rooted with ferns and herbaceous plants which can tolerate shade. Because the trees cut out most of the sunlight, and the wood is not so dense. Okay. So let for the resulting in a peculiar arrangement. Okay, that's why we have distinct level, because all the trees they struggle for getting the sunlight. The tallest trees attain a height of over 150 feet. The slender trunk pierces skyward with widespread branches at the top. The smaller trees beneath form the next layer, and the ground is rooted with ferns and okay. I mean, from the next layer and the ground, okay, which can tolerate shade, ferns and everything. Because the trees cut out most of the sunlight, undergrowth is not so dense. Multiple species. Unlike the temperate forest, where only a few species occur in a particular area, the trees of the tropical rainforest are not found in pure stands of a single species. It has been estimated that in the Malaysian jungle, as many as 200 species of trees may be found in an acre of land. This has made commercial exploitation of tropical timber is the most difficult task. Malaysia has 200 species of trees may be found in one acre of forest. This has made commercial exploitation of tropical timber. Many of the tropical hardwoods do not float readily on water, and this makes haulage an expensive matter. Okay, tropical hardwood. It is therefore not surprising that many tropical countries are net timber importers. So this is the reason why many tropical countries are net timber importers, because the tropical hardwood do not float readily on the water, and this makes haulage an expensive matter. Forest clearing. Many parts of the virgin tropical forest has been cleared either for lumbering or shifting cultivation. That we have written on. When these clearings are abandoned, less luxuriant secondary forests called belukar in Malaysia spring up. Okay. Malaysia. Okay. Spring up, these are characterized by short trees and very dense undergrowth in coastal areas, and brachystems mangrove forests thrive. Okay. So these are the issues related to forest clearings, multiple species, a distinct layer of vegetation, distinct layer of arrangements because of the fight for the sunlight, thick canopy, less dense undergrowth, multiple species, hauling a difficult task, and forest clearing, secondary forest. Okay. Life and development in the equatorial regions. The equatorial regions are generally sparsely populated. In the forest, most primitive people like the hunters and the collectors, and the more advanced ones practice shifting cultivation. So we have seen shifting cultivation. So they were sparsely populated in the forest. Most primitive people live as hunters and the collectors, and they practice shifting cultivation. Food is so abundant in such a habitat. Many people worry very little about the life of the next day. There are numerous animals, birds, reptiles that can be hunted to serve the needs of the community. The ever-flowing rivers and the streams provide an inexhaustible supply of the fish that the people spear or trap. From the forest, they gather leaves, fruits, nuts, and other forest produce. In the Amazon basin, the Indian tribes collect wild rubber. In the Congo basin, the Beguines gather nuts, and in the jungle of the Malaysian, the orang asli make all sorts of cane products and sell them to people in villages and towns. So, pygmies, pygmies, and then we have the Congo basin, the Malaysian, the orang. In the clearing for shifting cultivation crops like yams, maize, bananas, groundnuts, manioc, that is tapioca, yams, maize, bananas, groundnuts are grown. When the fertility is exhausted, the clearing is abandoned and they move on to a new plot. So many shifting cultivation are such farming practices are becoming more and more widespread even among backward tribes. With the coming of the Europeans, many large plantations have been established. Shifting cultivation, and especially in Java, Sumatra, and Malaysia, West Africa, and Central America. Asia. The climate has proved to be very favorable for the cultivation of certain crops which are highly valued in the industrial West. The most outstanding is natural rubber called the Hevia brasiliensis. So this is a scientific name of rubber. So rubber plantation. Hevia. Brasiliensis. Brazil, size okay. So Hevia brasiliensis. Okay, though it was first discovered in its wild state as para rubber in the Amazon basin, it has since been transplanted. Rihanna, Rihanna, Commanding, Ebony, Mahogany, Green Heart, and all. So it was first discovered and marketed as part of the Amazon basin. It has since been transplanted to other parts of the equatorial lands and is grown very profitably on large estates. Malaysia and Indonesia are the leading producers, each accounting for more than third of the world production. Rubber. Okay. The home country Brazil exports practically no natural rubber. The problem of tree disease and the lack of commercial organization of the Indians in the Amazon lowlands have brought about an unexpected shift of rubber cultivation. Tree disease and the lack of commercial organization. Another tropical crop that has achieved an Amazon success is cocoa. Coca. So, cocoa, it is most extensively cultivated in West Africa, bordering the Gulf of Guinea, of course. The two most important producers, Ghana and Nigeria, are this. There is a keen demand for the crops and agriculture are increase most of the crops leaves West Africa for Europe. Most of the crop leaves West Africa for Europe or North America for the cocoa and chocolate industry. Or North America for the cocoa and chocolate industry. For from the same area, another crop, oil palm, has done equally well, and many countries outside Africa have now taken it to its cultivation. Other crops that have been found suitable for the hot, wet equatorial climates are extensively cultivated coconuts, sugar, coffee, tea, tobacco, spices, bananas, pineapples, sago. sugar, coffee, tea, tobacco, spices, bananas, pineapples, sago. Factors affecting the development of equatorial region. Bacteria and substances. Then Mumbai. Inches. Okay, rainfall I think we're talking about rainfall centimeter and in January so right. Yes. Equatorial climate and health under conditions of excessive heat and high humidity man is subject to serious physical and mental handicaps. He perspires profusely and loses vigor energy in such an enervating environment. He exposes himself to such dangers as sunstroke and to such diseases as malaria and yellow fever. Consequently, his capacity for active was greatly reduced and his resistance to disease is much weakened. Unless there is adequate provision for satisfactory sanitation, physical and mental health are bound to be affected. Nowadays, malaria eradication schemes are in progress in most tropical areas and vaccines have been developed to counter the disease. Prevalence of bacteria and insect increase. The hot vegetable mix stimulates rapid plant growth, also increases the spread of insects and pests as germs and bacteria are more easily transmitted through moisture. Equatorial conditions are either for the survival of such organisms. Insects and pests not only spread disease but are injurious to crops. They plague both men and animals as well as crops. Jungle hinders development and maintenance. So humid climate, pests and bacteria. Jungle hinders development and maintenance. The jungle is so luxuriant, it is quite a problem to clear a small patch of it and even more difficult to maintain it. The long, the tall grasses and the thick undergrowth spring up as soon as the shade trees are cut, and unless they are weeded and all. Okay, we have just write it down. So the jungle is so luxuriant, it's quite a problem to clear a small patch of it and even more difficult to maintain. The long, the tall grasses and thick undergrowth spring up as soon as the shade trees are cut, and unless they are weeded at regular intervals, they may choke the crops and overwhelm estates. In the same way, roads and railways constructed through the equatorial lands have to cut through the forest, dense thickets and swamps, and those who build and maintain them encounter wild animals, poisonous snakes, and insects. Once completed, they have to be maintained at a high cost. Many remote parts of the Amazon basin, the Congo, and the Borneo are without modern communication lines. The rivers form the only natural highways. Rapid deterioration of tropical soil. So it's a misconception that tropical soils are rich in this forest in its virgin untouched state due to heavy leaf fall and the decomposition released by the bacteria. A thick mantle of humus makes the soil fairly fertile. This is clear from the shifting cultivations, heavy croppings in the newly cleared landacks. But once the humus is removed, is used, and the natural vegetative cover is removed, the torrential downpour soon washes out most of the soil nutrients. The soil deteriorates rapidly with subsequent soil erosion and soil impoverishment. One may quote the Indonesian island of Java as an exception because of its rich. Okay. Island Java as an exception to rich nutrient soil due to volcanic eruption. Difficulty in looming and livestock farming. Yes, lack of grasses. In Malaysia, Singapore, and eastern Brazil, much progress has to be made in the development of tropical lands through systematic planning and the will of the people. Okay. Difficulties in looming and livestock farming, as mentioned earlier, though the tropics have great potential in timber resources, commercial extraction is difficult. Trees do not occur in homogeneous stands. There are no frozen surfaces to facilitate logging. Okay, that's the reason. And the tropical hardwoods are sometimes too heavy to float in the rivers, even if this flow in the desired direction. So lumbering and livestock farming is really difficult because of the hardwood doesn't float in rivers and logging because there are no frozen surfaces to facilitate logging. Commercial homogeneous stands, so there is not a one homogeneous stand. There are no frozen to facilitate logging, and the tropical hardwood is sometimes too heavy to float in the rivers even if this flow in the desired directions. So this is done. Now we'll move towards another topic. Hello, Junaid. Tropical monsoon and tropical marine climate. Now we're moving towards another topic. Let's see what comes. Just give me 5 minutes. to low pressure. Guys, like, share and subscribe the channel. I'll be back in 5 minutes.